The Mars Declination Cycle and Stock Market Major Corrections. The purpose of this video is to highlight a particular feature of the Mars Declination Cycle that appears to correlate with stock market major corrections, i.e. crashes. Mars Declination Cycle peaks occur in 32-year series that can be linked forward and backward in time to other peaks associated with crashes. This will become clear with examples. The term crash refers to major corrections of over 30%. For those not familiar with declination, planetary declination refers to the angular distance of a celestial body from the celestial equator, measured along the ecliptic plane. It represents how far north or south of the sun's apparent path in the sky a planet lies at any given time. Declination is measured in degrees, with positive values indicating positions north of the celestial equator and negative values indicating positions south. Planetary declination can be calculated for the centre of the Sun, heliocentric, and for the centre of the Earth, geocentric. Mars heliocentric declination cannot go beyond 23 degrees 26 minutes. However, Mars geocentric declination, viewed from Earth, can appear to go beyond this degree, reaching 26 degrees, 27 degrees, or 28 degrees above, i.e. north, or below, i.e. south, the ecliptic. The phenomenon is known as out of bounds. Mars' maximum peak geocentric declination reaches 28 degrees, and this occurs cyclically, alternating between 32 years and 47 years. Geocentric maximum peak refers to the highest point reached by Mars in its sinusoidal path around the Sun's equator. Peaks of between 25, 26 and 27 degrees are contained within the major 32-47 year cycle, occurring roughly every 7 to 10 years, and alternating north-south before reversing. The cycle arguably symbolises that a market correction is due. In this video, the 32-year cycles will be analysed. 4 can be identified: 2000 and 2001, 2007 and 2008, 2018 and 2019, 2025 and 2026. Each series has 4 past correction events and can also be progressed to future cycles within the series. Each Mars maximum peak in the series shares the same cycle wave pattern. This will become clear as we look at examples. One phenomenon of the series is that Mars peaks tend to cluster within similar months. The major corrections of the series also cluster. A walk through each series will help clarify the pattern. Reference will be made to 4 corrections at 32-year intervals for each series. The major corrections of 1929, 1987, 2000, 2007 and 2020 will be familiar to all. Correction dates over the last 100 years can be ascertained using stock market sites such as TradingView or Stook, STOOQ, historical data. Links are provided in the abstract. Begin our analysis with the 1929-2025 series for obvious reasons. 1929 was the crash of all crashes, and 2025-26 refers to the next major correction. It will therefore be useful to see if the method enables the event to be more closely targeted. As can be seen, this 32-year cycle series shown encompasses 2025-6, 1993-4, 1961-2 and the crash of all crashes 1929. For clarity, the 4 correction years have been displayed on their own wave cycle to show that the Mars declination wave pattern is the same for all. This clearly shows that all Mars maximum peaks in the series occur at north declination, while all major corrections, i.e. crashes, occur around the following south declination peak, 2 before and 2 after. The menu box on the right hand side shows the red combo wave equals Mars combined declination cycle, where GMA equals geocentric and HMA equals heliocentric. Heliocentric and geocentric peaks occur at slightly different times. In the second chart, the cycle wave pattern of Mars for the 4 years are combined using 2025-26 as a template. This helps highlight the synchronicity between the years, showing how the Mars maximum peaks all occur north declination between January and February. The major corrections, on the other hand, all took place at south declination between October and February around the south peak for past years. This suggests the next major correction will take place between October 2025 and February 26. We will now look at the second series incorporating the correction of 2000 and 2001. This series links the corrections of 1938-9, 1968-9, 2001 and a potential future cycle of 2032-33. As can be seen, this cycle is a reverse of the previous cycle and shows all maximum peaks occurring at southern declinations, while the corrections occur at northern declinations between December and March for respective years. Extrapolating past correction dates would suggest that the potential correction in 2032-3 will fall within these parameters of December 2032 and March 2033. The third series covers the most recent major correction of 2020 and shares a series with the 1987 crash and two minor corrections of 1953 and 1923. As can be seen, this series differs from the other two in that both Mars peaks and corrections occur in southern declination. However, the 1987 crash occurred on the cusp. The 2020 crash was unusually delayed as the Mars peak occurred in August 2018. However, two minor corrections took place in that year. The next peak in the series falls in 2050. The three series give a good indication of the recurring patterns. A fourth series includes the 2007 correction and predicts a future correction in 2039, but will not be included as three will suffice and clearly lay out the hypothesis. Features of the series charts given are that both maximum peaks and corrections tend to cluster around the same time periods. Obviously, the peaks will occur at maximum amplitude of the cycle, but do so within a month of each other in respective years. Major corrections, however, do not occur at peaks, but are closely aligned to the same peak, usually that which either precedes or follows the Mars maximum peak. The table is added to explore other facets of Mars declination maximum peaks. The table records if a major correction occurred before or after a Mars maximum peak. The degree out of bounds of the peak is logged as well as the time in years between peaks. When examining if a correction occurred before or after a maximum peak, some interesting facts emerge. From 1907 until 1975, corrections alternated before and after. Since 1968, they have occurred in pairs. If this holds, then the next correction will be after the Mars maximum peak on the 11th of February 2025. It should also be noted that wars distort the sequence, increasing time between peak and correction. 2020 was an exception, but two minor corrections occurred in 2018. The maximum peak for that year was August. Viewers will ask if there are any ways to be more precise about the event date, which brings us to the event rectification, an indicator that has helped refine correction events in the past can be found in the works of W.D. Gann, namely Gann clusters. W.D. Gann needs no introduction, and many of his indicators are included in trading software. W.D. Gann had many methods of prediction for trading stocks. One of them was his use of the 15th harmonic method, which divides a circle into 24 sectors of 15 degrees each. The numbers then spiral out from 1 to 360. The planets are placed on the chart for the date and time in question. This will be shown later. Gann's 15th harmonic system is described in detail in Gene Long's book Universal Clocks. The basis of Gann clusters is that on occasion the outer planets form multiple geometric patterns of squares 90 degrees and oppositions 180 and 270 degrees. They also form trines of 120 and sextiles of 60 degrees within a 1 week or 2 week period of time. The 90, 180, 270 corresponds with the Dow Jones Index downtrends, while the 60 and 120 correspond with uptrends. The patterns occur most frequently in geocentric declination and less frequently heliocentrically. Using this method for 2025-26, a T-square comprised of 180 degrees and two 90-degree aspects occurs over a 10-day period in January 2026. Geocentrically, on the 15th, Saturn 90 degrees Pluto, on the 20th, Saturn 180 degrees Uranus, on the 25th, Uranus 270 degrees Pluto. This suggests a high probability that a correction is due around this time. As an example, this graphic shows the Gann 15th harmonic wheel and the geocentric T-square formed in January 2026 by Saturn, SA, 180 degrees from Uranus, UR, while both are 90 degrees from Pluto, PL. The Gann wheel places the numbers 1 to 360 in a spiral, out from the centre going up a level every 25th number. The planetary positions for the time in question are circled. A 15th harmonic has each sector 15 degrees apart. Therefore, Saturn to Uranus is 12 sectors apart, equal to 180 degrees. Pluto is 6 sectors apart from Saturn and Uranus, equal to 90 degrees. In conclusion, the Mars declination 32-year series hypothesis is based upon empirical data. A theory to explain it is beyond the scope of this video. As science progresses, research into electromagnetism in the solar system, perhaps this will change. There have been other research in this vein, such as Miles Mathis, who has calculated the solar sunspot cycle activity in advance by calculating planetary geometric relationships through the cycle. A link is included in the abstract. And now for a disclaimer. The views expressed in this content are for informational purposes only. It does not recommend a course of action and should not be considered personalized investment advice. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Always consult with a registered financial advisor before making investment decisions.